Hey, this is Joe Gilder from HomeStudioCorner.com. More Studio One tutorials for you. I want to talk about this really neat feature that I didn't realize existed, and it's a great time saver for editing and also mixing. So it has to do with grouping. If you remember in other DAWs, if you wanted to do something like, let's say you wanted to, something simple, like you wanted to turn these 3 green guitar tracks down together. Instead of grabbing one and the next, you wanted them to stay relative to each other, stay the same, and turn them down. Well, the way you would do that is you'd select them all, and then you'd group them, which I just did with Command G, and then whenever I move one, I move another, right? All is happy in the world. The problem is, what if I want to go back and move just one of them? Well, you either have to remember a particular key to hold down to kind of temporarily bypass the group, which some systems don't have, or you have to turn the group off. In Studio One, you have to basically disable the whole group, and then it disables it, and you can move them individually. Well, there's a couple things I want to show you. One, that's not the only way to do it, and I'll show you that in a second. But two, I want to show you how you can do that, get the advantages of that grouping without having to go through the steps of actually creating a group. Because in a lot of scenarios, you just want to do it once or twice. You don't need it to save those tracks grouped together indefinitely. That'll just waste your time and not necessarily what you want. So for example, here, I just want to turn these up and down just a little bit, just one time, and then I want to be done with it. So what you can do is, as you've probably seen in Studio One, when you select a track, it's highlighted in a lighter gray color. Well, if you hold down Shift and click the first and the last track, it'll select them all. Or if you hold down Command, or I believe it's Control on the PC, you can click different, select just the ones that you want, right? So let's say these are 3 electrics I want to control together. I just select them. Literally, they're just selected. I haven't done anything else. And look, they behave just like a group. Isn't that great? So if I just want to make that adjustment and then move on, guess what? They're not grouped anymore. I can come back and grab this electric 3, and it's completely independent of the others. The other way of doing it would be to group them, and then I can take them and move them around. But let's say I'm over here working on this acoustic, and I decide, you know, electric 3 needs to come down a little bit. And I'm forgetting that it's grouped. I come over here and I grab it, and guess what? I just turn down all 3 guitars instead of just electric 3. 2 ways to solve that. First is to not use groups at all and to just select them like I showed you a second ago. Second way is to hold down Command. Oh, nope, not Command. Command is the wrong one. Command brings it back to 0, which is not what you want. Hold down Option while you click. And Option is Control, or it's Alt on the PC, I believe. This allows me, it's still grouped, but by holding down Option, I can click and move this one and then come back over here and do what I want to do. Now for me, unless I really need them to be grouped all the time, a lot of times I won't group them. I'll just have them, I'll just select them like this, move it, and move on. If there's times where I need them to be grouped for editing and things like that, then groups can be helpful. But even for editing, you can quickly select 2 tracks using the Shift or Command method, and then I can continue to edit those separately. But when I click on just one, I can no longer, it's no longer grouped together. So in that scenario, if I'm doing a lot of editing and not just one single edit where I'm adding a fade to a couple of tracks together, if I'm doing more than one edit, like I'm doing a pocketing or editing session, I will group those together. Okay, so now I've grouped electrics 2 and 3, so when I click on any one of them, it groups both. So those are a couple cool ways to use grouping and even just the selection feature inside of Studio One to make a lot of stuff happen a lot faster for you and definitely shave some time off your mixes.